Hello and welcome to Pluribus Unum's Fireside Chats. Not as good as FDR's, but hey, it's something. Now, this episode is of course going to be another political quiz. And I guess I'll give a brief warning about the political quiz before we get into the news stories. Just a quick one, because this is from the same person who made the America values tests. And I guess this person is pretty reactionary, right-wing reactionary. So, I'm just going to give this warning right here, right now. There's going to be some offensiveness in the quiz. just a heads up, just so you know. Anyways, with that out of the way, let's get right in the news. First news story is that the United States and Russia are currently proposing their plans for Ukraine. And according to this, their current plans for Ukraine are to create a West Bank-style occupation of it. Trump's envoy, Steve Witkoff, is understood to support the idea, which can be revealed before the president meets Putin on Alaska on Friday. Apparently, I think this meeting is canceled. I think this meeting was supposed to happen today, and no. I think this happened, and they were supposed to have another meeting, and then it got canceled, because basically Putin is walking all over Donald Trump, and Donald Trump, this is the thing. It's like, everyone's, doing the thing where it's like, oh, Trump is Putin's puppet. It's like, Trump doesn't know. Trump, honestly, he didn't know. He thought that he was put in that position. I think Trump is finally learning the fact, you were put in this position because I allowed you to be there. It's the same thing that happened with the fucking, Communist Party, where it was, one of the Communist Party leaders was, really mad at, Stalin, and Stalin basically told him, hey, dude, no, shut up. You only have that power because I let you have that power, so you can't talk to me like that. And, apparently, under this scenario, Russia would have military and economic control of the occupied Ukraine under its own governing body, imitating Israel's de facto rule of Palestinian territory seized from Jordan in 1967. The idea was raised weeks ago in discussions between Steve Witkoff and Trump. There's really not much else I could say. It's the only thing I will say that is interesting is just because I remember Ukraine very early on said, we stand with Israel, we support Israel's right to defend itself, and now they're going to be faced with the exact same problem. That it's just pretty funny. Not much else for me to say. Let's move on to the next story. Speaking of Israel has killed an Al Jazeera journalist in an airstrike and claimed, apparently they've killed a lot of Al Jazeera journalists. This isn't anything new. They've killed a ton of Al Jazeera journalists. And they have made the claim that this journalist right here, Anas Al-Sharif, was a member of Hamas. They're literally making the claim that he is a member of Hamas, and that he was secretly, he was secretly. Let me see. Let's just read a little bit of the news story. Anas Al-Sharif's death has been condemned by the United Nations, human rights organizations, journalists, and advocacy groups. One of which warned last month that he was being targeted with a smear campaign by the Israeli military after he cried on air over starvation. You see, and this is the thing. They were preparing. They were goading people. They were preparing people to lie about this guy. They were preparing. They were ready. They were ready and willing to go for this. And here's some of the famous photos that Sharif posted about the Gaza incident. What's going on? It's pretty fucked up. Let's see. Do they have the thing about his him crying on air? Sharif became one of the most visible faces reporting on Gaza war, refusing to go back in the north despite repeated Israel orders and direct threats to his life. He continued daily coverage through airstrikes, massacres, displacement, often working under extreme danger and chronic shortages of basic supplies. His reporting provided crucial footage and testimony from one of the most inaccessible international war zones. Sharif received phone calls from the Israeli military telling him to leave northern Gaza in 2023. The following month, his father was killed in an Israeli airstrike in their family home in Jabalia. Due to poor health, his father had been unable to evacuate the home. Al-Sharif described the experience as both cruel and painful, yet said it strengthened his resolve to continue telling stories about the Gaza suffering. Sharif's Reuters team was awarded the Pulitzer Prize for breaking news photography for their raw urgent photos of Gaza. While reporting live from Gaza and his ceasefire, Sharif removed his protective gear, cheering bystanders raised him on their shoulders in celebration. Video of the event went viral on social media. Sharif is a very prominent journalist in Gaza. He was an extremely prominent journalist in Gaza. It's just unequivocally, they literally. And of course, he's not the first journalist who's been killed in the in the Gaza situation. Let's see. Let's just count how many are on the fucking Wikipedia page. This is just the Gaza war, guys. Remember, I'm just on the one about the current quote-unquote Gaza war. 234 Palestinians. Let's see. Lebanon, 10. Israel, 4. Syria, 1. Iran, 4. Let's see. I don't know why this one's shorter. I think it's like, I don't know, do they? Oh, okay, maybe they only include like prominent journalists here. I don't know. I don't fucking know. I don't know why that one's shorter, but like, as you can see, a lot of names. Shot by Israeli forces. Shot. There's a reason why these guys get shot. It's because, obviously the reason why is because these are the guys reporting the truth. And if these guys don't exist, then Israel's the one who gets to control the narrative. And it's just insane, again, that they're just, like, going to lie. Like, literally, it's just, like, unequivocally, people are just lying about him. Here's literally the thing, like, and this is one of the dumbest things that people are, like, doing to, like, be like, oh, he's Hamas, look, he has a gun, oh no, he's an evil terrorist, oh my goodness. Yeah, oh my goodness. Look at this evil terrorist with a gun. Oh my goodness. This evil, disgusting terrorist with a gun. Oh my goodness. Evil, disgusting terrorist with a gun. Evil, disgusting, gross creature with a gun. Wait, hold on. Oh my goodness. Evil gun. Gun equals terrorist. Oh my goodness. Evil gun. Evil gun equals terrorist. Oh my goodness. Gun equal terrorist. Oh my goodness. How disgusting. How evil and bad and gross and evil. You can't complain to me about this. You guys can't complain to me about this shit. You can't get mad at me for that. Because Ethan Klein himself said it.
Ethan Klein just outright fucking said live on air that his wife is a terrorist.
Arrested, like, stabbed people? Like, you don't know what you're talking about.
Talk about how fucked up.
Okay, fine, my wife's a terrorist, bro. What the fuck? It's so boring.
No, stop.
This guy.
Hey, he said it. And according to this guy, holding a gun magically makes you a terrorist. Oh my goodness. He's holding a gun. Oh my goodness. Though another news thing that came up was like, oh, he was standing next to the guy who was head of Hamas. Oh my goodness, why would a journalist ever do that? Yeah, why would a journalist ever do that? That is so insane. Oh my goodness, a journalist would never stand next to a person who was affiliated with the like. This makes no sense. It's just insane. It's like, oh no, a journalist stood next to a guy. Reported on events you can't really report on the events of Palestine and not report on Hamas. Isn't that what you guys want? I thought you guys wanted them to talk about Hamas and report on Hamas. Like, I thought that was what you guys wanted. So now he can't do that for some reason. But while those pictures are getting perfect, I want to show you this picture. This picture is very important. You see this little kid right here? That's him. That's the journalist that got killed. That is him. Think about that. Like, he's lived his entire life underneath this occupation. He's lived his entire life in this. This is him getting inspired by the press journalists of his time period. And then he got inspired to do the same thing. That's literally what happened. And I can't believe people are just, like, doing this insane, like, lying about him. It's just insane to me. But anyways, let's move on to the next story, which is still Israel. And again, another story in the Israel becoming extremely cartoonishly evil. Okay, so Netanyahu openly is saying again, he's on a historic and spiritual mission and feels a connection to the vision of greater Israel. Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu tells I-24 TV News that he feels he's on a historic and spiritual mission and that he is very attached to the vision of the Promised Land and Greater Israel. The interviewer Sharon Gal, who is briefly a railing member of Knesset, of course, gives Netanyahu near the end of their interview where he says that emulates a map of the Promised Land. This is my vision, says Gall. He jokes that he does not want to further entangle Netanyahu in the case against former premier for allegedly receiving jewelry and other luxury goods for several businessmen from him and his wife Sarah. So again, it's like similar to Trump. He's like just openly taking bribes. So just for some of you who might not know, you don't know what, some of you might not know this, but you know what? Many of you might not know what Greater Israel is. Well, the TLDR is that this is Greater Israel. Greater Israel is literally, they want to expand the territory beyond, like, this was the land that was given to them by America and by Europe and by the UK. And very strongly, they have been slowly inching towards the beyond that. This is what the, like, I guess the alleged, like, land of Israel was at, like, one point. Hold on, I don't fucking know, like, the fucking biblical bullshit. Like, I don't know what the fucking, like, biblical bullshit is. Like, fucking Israel, I don't really get it. I don't really understand. I don't really fucking care. Cause it's like bullshit. It's like fucking like fake like fake like bullshit about like fucking like, yeah, again, it's just fake bullshit, and that's what it is. I guess I don't really. Do they have a map of like ancient Israel? I don't know. I guess it's what the like. I guess this is what the biblical Israel is supposed to be. That's what the biblical land of Israel is like supposed to be, or like it's supposed to be, because like because the greater this is what the end goal is. That's what it's always been. This is what the end goal is for the biblical fanatics. When the Holy Land is finished, when the Holy Land is filled with like Jews, that's when the world ends. That's what the Christian Zionists think. And of course, the like actual Zionists think that they are given this land because they're the magic fairy tale god. Like their magic fake god says that they get to own this land. Who cares about all the people who are in this land? They're just squatters. And there are many reasons why this is very clearly always been the game plan. I don't understand why this is like some insane, strange, like controversial belief, because it's clearly what it's always been. That's clearly what it's always been. It's always been the game plan. I don't get how this is like some sort of like confusing thing. Because on one end, it's like, hey, here is the land that we've officially designated as Israel. And yet they still are like, we want this and we want this. Then they also conveniently find time to attack here and attack here. And it's like, hold on, that's not the land that you were supposed to be given. And then they like not only like Trump not only drew the Golan Heights to be part of Israel during one of his meetings like a million years ago, but he also fucking like the second that Assad left Syria, Israel's like, and I think there was like, I don't know how proven this is, but like, if I remember correctly, like due to the fucking like situation in Gaza and in the West Bank right now, a lot of Israelis have actually started to expand beyond the Greater Israel. Because they're actually going backwards. They started going to Cyprus, and then they started like buying up prominent land in Cyprus to the point where the Cyprus left is they're just like, hey, hold on a second, whoa. But yeah, this is very clearly always been the game plan. They attacked the Suez Canal, even though that's part of Egypt. Remember they attacked the Suez Canal, and that led to, like, I think the 6-Day War? It might not be the 6-Day War, I forget. Sometimes it mix up the 6-Day War and the fucking, there's a different war that was, like, before that, I think. But, like, conveniently, it was like, we own the Suez Canal. It's like, no, you don't. That's Egypt's. Egypt owns that canal. What do you mean? But, of course, you see, it's on their imaginary line. Look, see the imaginary line. God gave them this land a million years ago. Sure, God doesn't exist, so there's really no reason to. Like, it's insane nonsense. It's insane nonsense, and the fact that people are even taking this seriously, and what's worse is people who take this seriously that don't even involve the like. You're not in the. I don't get like. Being a Jewish Zionist is one thing, like, because, like, you get to be in the in crowd. You get to be in the in crowd. And even a Christian Zionist, but there are people who are not either of those. It's like, you're not in the in crowd. You're not getting any benefit from this. In fact, the Christian Zionists don't get benefit either because literally it's like the world ends. The world ends. And I think if you wanted to be technical, that's like kind of like the biggest reason why you should oppose Israel, because like, wait, hold on. If Israel happens, then I think actually that was a funny joke that I used to do back when I was like because it's like wait, hold on. If Israel is completed and then the world ends, then that's like the biggest reason to oppose Israel, is it not? I don't even get, like, I think Saudi Arabia, I mean, and this is a weird thing, because, like, apparently, like, that's one of the big things that a lot of people like to point out. It's like Iraq, I don't know if Iraq still does this, but, like, it's like Syria, Lebanon, Jordan, they're broadly anti-Israel, but it's like, for some reason, Egypt and Saudi Arabia, since they're so close to the West, they, like, starting to, like, have actual connections to Israel. It's like, you guys are not gaining anything. Look, you're losing. You guys are losing in this interaction. Like, I mean, and this is the thing. It's like, again, this should be no surprise. This has always been the game plan. Ben Gvir has openly said this. Smotrich has stated this. They've always wanted this. This is just being upfront and point blank. And then you're gonna wonder why people. It's insane. It's really sad. It's really sad that this happened. That this is the game plan, and then it's just like. And then you wonder why people are now starting to, like, just go on beyond just being, like, anti-Zionist, and some people are just going to be full-on anti-Semitic. Like, yeah, you're invading multiple lands. Of course, I'm not going to do it because I don't fucking care. I think all religion is stupid and gay. Well, I mean, not gay, because being gay is a good thing. But, like, literally, you really expect people to, like somehow not be, like, you're like, I'm going to use my religion to justify this massive annexation and massive, like, everything. I'm going to do all this, and then somehow it's going to, like, make us look good. I don't get it. I don't fucking get it. It makes no sense. It makes no sense. This is why I'm against, like, religious nationalism of all kinds, whether it be Zionism, whether it be Christian nationalism, whether it be Islamic terrorism, like, whether it be, like, whatever religious nationalism it is. And it's a thing. Ethan Klein used to believe that too, but that was before he could be part of the in crowd. Like, when it was evil Islamic terrorism, then he was like, oh, that's a bridge too far. When it's Christian nationalism, oh, no, I don't like that. But when it's Zionism, oh boy, yep, I love that. I love me some of that. People, like, that's one of the big reasons why, like, fascist hard right movements get power. Like, they need to aim for the in crowd. That's why, like reactionary conservative, like, politics is starting to, like, really shift heavily towards trying to get, like, young men to be part of the crowd. Because, like, you guys are benefiting from this. You guys are gonna benefit from this. They don't, but they get to get the lie. But anyways, fuck Zionism. Zionism is cringe. And hopefully Jewish Voice for Peace can prevent this. But anyways, let's move on to the next story. On to Donald Trump, where he's also turning fascism. Donald Trump is going to start cracking down on crime in DC. I think this has been just repealed, or they had to pull back on certain elements of it because it was, like, this bad. And this is the big thing I really don't fucking understand. Okay, so this is, like, a lot of things that happened. So it's like, okay, so apparently there was, like, because I kept seeing one thing when this was, like, trending on Twitter. People kept saying, like, big balls, and I'm like, what the fuck is that? And it turns out it's one of the fucking teenagers that Donald Trump hired to, like, run Doge. And that he got beat up, and that's why they're doing this. 19-year-old former Department of Government efficiency worker during attempted carjacking. While Trump has repeatedly criticized what he's described as a surge in violent crime in Washington, overall crime numbers this year were lower than last year. Washington, D.C. will be liberated today, he said on Truth Social. The declaration keeps his administration. Like, I mean, there's really not much for me to say, because it's just like, I'm just waiting. Like, I mean, this all could have been preventable, but yeah, there's not much else for me to say. Let's move on to horse race news, because whatever. Okay, so apparently Chuck Schumer is trying to use whatever small power he has remaining before he gets ousted as Democratic leader to court a new Democratic challenger to run, Mary Sattler Peltola, to run an Alaska Senate race. Darn it. They removed the story. Whatever. But anyways, not much. There is much for me to say about this, but I'm just gonna first explain why this is slightly a good idea. The reason why this is slightly a good idea, is because of the fact that Mary Sattler-Peltola has a chance to win because her races beforehand were state-run seats. Alaska has an at-large congressional district, so they only had one seat. There was one thing that was wrong about the news story, and that news story basically claimed that Sarah Palin lost because she got third. She didn't. Basically, for those who don't know, I've explained this before, but I'll explain this again. So basically, here's what happened. So, first, with ranked choice, first they have ranked choice voting. That's one big thing that's definitely in Peltola's favor. And that was one of the big things that was a surprise when Peltola won, and many people attributed to the ranked choice voting. So first, let me explain how this went the first time. So the ones who advanced the general election were originally Nick Bekich III, the grandson, he was part of a prominent political family, which was a bipartisan political family. Sarah Palin, former lieutenant governor, Mary Sattler-Peltola, and Al Gross, the former technical Democratic nominee for Senate in 2020. This race was also funny because it had Haha Santa Claus was running, and he was a socialist. Haha, funny Santa Claus run for president. Ha 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 ha. But anyways, of course, Al Gross inevitably dropped out for seemingly no reason. I don't really know. I really have no clue why. And what was supposed to happen was that Tara Sweeney, who was 5th place, was supposed to go to the runoff, but Al Gross dropped out too late. So the ranked choice voting was automatically ruined because there was only 3 candidates remaining: Palin, Bekich, and Peltola. And many people did note one big thing about the race. You see, due to this fact, Peltola had an easy time because she was the only one who had the broad left of center vote. Al Gross was a center left, kind of center, kind of left sometimes kind of guy. And Bekich was a centrist Republican, or a broadly centrist Republican. Would he be classified as centrist? Let me check. Let me briefly check his fucking wiki page, and the fact that he's got one of these fancy pictures probably gives you an indication about something. I think he's broadly he's a broadly center right guy. He's part of, again, a prominent political family, a prominent bipartisan political family, and they're broadly centrist. The Bekich family is broadly centrist. They're right-wing Democrats, I guess by definition, left-wing Republicans. And basically, what ended up happening was, very obviously, due to that fact, Bekich voters would inevitably split off and kind of go in different directions in the runoff. Because that was one of the big things that happened. Palin was desperately trying to get Bekich to drop out of the race, so it would just be a Palin v. Peltola race. But Bekich did not budge. He was I will not do that. As you can see here, round 1, so that doesn't show the transfer for the last round, but they show it in this graph. It shows right here. Okay, so first the invalid people, they kind of went to their own different ways. Most of them went to Bekich, and then Bekich votes went broadly 15,000 to Peltola, 27,000 to Palin. People who went for the partisan versus ideological, because ideologically Peltola was a bit more aligned, not necessarily exactly with Bekich, but as you could tell, there was a bit more of an ideological divide between Bekich voters and Palin. And many people actually explain that in a way Palin spoiled the election because Palin was too big of a candidate, that she swallowed up too much of the vote in the first round. And then when they ended up doing this again, a similar thing happened, but this time they did have a 4th place finisher. Let's see. 4th place finisher was, I think it was Chris By. Well, actually it was Tara Sweeney, but Chris By got to be put on the next round, and since he was, again, a smaller candidate, not much happened. His vote kind of went slowly away. But this time, Peltola actually had a much bigger showing in the first round anyways. She barely didn't make it to the runoff. To the point where people point out, in this race, she actually would have won outright either way. And then inevitably, they ended up winning. Because the Republican Party finally realized, we gotta let Bekich be the guy to go against her. Bekich has to be the one. That was the only reason why they finally managed to win. Because they got these two to drop out, and then had the 2 people who made it to the next round be a tiny Democrat and a candidate for a very small political party. Wait, do they not have the transfers for this race? What the heck? Anyways, hold on. Let me see. I guess would they have it in like at least like the like number here? So yeah, basically you can broadly see like broadly in this round most of the Democrat vote went to her, with like I guess some going to Beckich and maybe some to this guy. No, wait, they would be in this round. That's my bad. That's my bad. I wasn't paying attention. But like, you get my point. Like, she is a state-run candidate, and she is, ideally in sort of like the ideal like viewpoint for being in this thing. She's a centrist, like right-wing Democrat for the race, and people are very desperate. Like, oh, this is interesting. This could be a very good sign for the party in the next election. Oh boy, this could be big. Well, let me see if I can pull up the fucking... I should have had this one on standby. Elections next time. Elections 2026. Senate races. Let's see. Alaska, I guess, they also did bring up the idea of one of the Beckiches running, so, they're still, like, they're definitely trying to do some ideas for some races possibly going down, but, see, there's a lot of things that a lot of people are, like, pointing out about this stuff, like, one of the first things you need to understand is that Democrats are not in a good position for the immediate round. Most of the people who are running for re-election are, like... let me see. Wait, hold on. There was this bottom graph that says... So, like, immediately, one big problem. Too many solid R's. Too many solid R's for the Republican... So, too many solids on safes on the Republican side. That's a big problem. And there's a decent amount of solid D's. But there aren't that many... And all of the ones that have, like, some concerns and questions... or on the Democratic side, at least except with the exception of like North Carolina. And that's where things are going to get a bit of trouble, because for many reasons, Democrats are not in a good position for the Senate race. These are the broadly like 11 seats that are kind of considered like somewhat competitive. Let me see if they match up here. Let me see. Broadly 11 seats. So we got like... Would that be, okay, broadly similar, like, okay, so, like, broadly, the Senate races that are seen as, like, the most competitive, whether it be, like, actually competitive or, like, marginally competitive, because, are Maine, New Hampshire, Ohio, Michigan, Minnesota, Iowa, Nebraska, Texas, Alaska, Georgia, North Carolina. And now, if we're being real, that number isn't really that. If we're being real, these are the actual races that are basically competitive. If we're being real, this is the actual map. We all know this. This is the actual map. Like, this is the actual map. Hold on. I could actually just, like, restart. Like, this is the actual consensus map. This is the actual consensus map. Like, everybody broadly agrees. This is, like, what the actual map is. We all know that. But, we're playing this map for a reason. Because these... because the race, like the seats that again are of course the obvious ones are these ones. And look, as we see here, Democrat defending, Republican defending. Dems are already in a bit of a bind. They're already in a bit of a bind due to this map. The most likely scenario of this map is literally just this. Which does not change anything. This doesn't change anything. Republicans are still in the majority, and they've basically got nothing left. But Dems need to play. Dems need to try. Dems, of course, have to do a lot of things. They need to defend, of course, their boys and girl. They need to defend their incumbents, obviously. But they also big game. They want to flip North Carolina, and I think they still technically want to flip Maine. But, of course, they accepted that Maine is probably a bit more of a bit more of a problem. Like, Maine, again, it's like a lean R, tilt R. There's technically some form of toss-up, but, like, they haven't found anybody yet. I think their ideal choice would have been Jared Golden, but their choice right now is fucking Janet Mills. And maybe we're putting out that's a bad idea because she's an old woman. Granted, Roy Cooper is also really old, and yet... Wait, how old is he? He's old. He's pretty old too, right? I don't know if he's like that old, but he's like old. He's pretty old, right? Okay, he's like close. He's close, but not that close. He can still do like let's see, like at least a term or two. He could do at least 2 terms and still kind of be cognizant. But yeah, what the fuck? Oh, I know this person. I know this fucking person. I don't know them, but I know this person is like a perennial candidate. Anyways, like, I mean, again, Dems are going to put a lot of effort into this race, and this race, and I'm going to, I guess they're also going to, again, like, New Hampshire is considered marginally, like, let me see, it's considered marginally competitive, but, like, not really. That's kind of the big thing. It's considered marginally competitive. Do they say it here? New Hampshire's considered Monica Blue. Kamala Harris can stay roughly 30 percentage points. State's congressional delegation is entirely Democratic. I mean, again, it's like, and they have this guy. They groomed this guy to fucking run for the position. So it's like, yeah, they basically kind of got their pick here. But like, again, what Dems need to do, like, Dems need to make sure, like. Because here's the unfortunate truth. Again, we all know this. This is their only chance this is their only real chance. So they need to put a lot of effort into this race. Like, they need to put a lot of effort into this race. And of course, they need to do their best to defend these states. But they will have to try. They have to try to flip Maine. I don't know if that means they're going to have to find somebody new or if they're really going to try and tout Janet Mills. Janet Mills, she is the incumbent governor. She could run and have Roy magic, but unfortunately, I think, hold on, they don't have any. I think there was like an occasional poll here and there. It was an occasional. I think there was one poll here that put like this Katie Porter guy as like the leader of the race. And like, I guess they're. Oh, this guy? Why is this guy running? I guess it's because he actually wants a chance to win. But yeah, like Dems, if they really want to try and get the map, I'm just putting this here for a competitive thing, just because. If Dems really need this map, they need. Hold on. I'm gonna change these to lean just because I want to use the darker purple. Like, they need one of these. They need to try and get some of these. They need to try in a couple of these seats to get them. They need these seats. Okay, let's see. Iowa, Nebraska, Ohio, Texas. Like, these are states that are not really competitive. We all know they're not really competitive. We all know they're not really that competitive. But they need to try. Like, the Dems need to try. They actually do need to attempt to... Wait, hold on. I get Alaska. But, I mean, I don't really need to bring up Alaska, but, like, these are ones they need to actually try and win. Like, Peltola can, hypothetically, win. And it's funny, Data for Progress, which is actually apparently not that good in polling-wise, they actually predict that Peltola will lose the election, so it's like, hey, maybe that means something. They actually need to try and flip one of these seats. And, again, like let's just do hypothetical, because, again, we know Dan Osborne isn't really going to be that competitive. Dan Osborne's not that competitive. We saw that. He was competitive-ish, but not that competitive. Okay. Yes, Jane Cleap finally officially endorsed him. like, you get my point. Like, we know Dan Osborne. He tried. It didn't work out that well. It was well enough. That it was, like, notable. But it wasn't. It wasn't good enough. But, like, even then, all this would do would be to not give the Republicans a majority. That's all it would do. So if Dems really... So, like, there could be a Hail Mary, again, like... this just means one less seat for the Republicans, so that is a point in their favor to an extent. But of course, they really need to try to get one of these seats to actually flip, at least one. I mean, I guess for like, this would, I guess if all four of them flip, that would be great. Like, I mean, I guess this is like the dream scenario for the Democratic Party. This is not going to happen in the slightest. But it would be the dream scenario. And they're, of course, trying. Like, I mean, Sherrod Brown is going to run in the seat. So, like, it's very obvious that he's going... It's, like, very obvious that he's going to, like... They're going to try and put effort into Ohio for him to win. For him to, like, pull through. They're going to try. At least for him. Iowa, apparently Nathan Sage is apparently making a good effort to, like, at least in some hypothetical polling. I guess I don't know where the hypothetical polling is. But J.D. Schulten's actually not that bad of a candidate. I think he could actually pull through. He's described himself as a Lena Khan Democrat. He's part of the populist wing. Like, he's literally, like, a pretty good candidate. I've endorsed his, like, bid against Steve Brown before, and not even, like, just because, like, he's, like, he was running against the fucking Nazi. Like, he's actually a pretty good candidate. And he was actually, like, his bid in, like, 2018 was actually pretty big, because, like, he got really close in that bid. And it was like, oh, that's interesting. And then he was, like, very much, like, pushing, like he kind of, like, stayed relevant in the time period so that people would, like, know that he's, like, around, so that he could, like, continue running. Texas is, of course, like, the biggest Hail Mary, especially considering the person that they're really trying to get right now is Colin Allred. Because, I mean, no offense, but, like, didn't work out so well last time. But, I mean, I guess I'm just going to be real. Like, if we're going to do predictions, this is, of course, the best case scenario for Democrats. The best case actually likely scenario for Democrats would be something along the lines of... maybe this? This might be the best case scenario, maybe? I'm trying to think. I guess this is like... I guess this would kind of be like their ideal, like, at least kind of push. This is their ideal best case scenario. I mean, not their ideal best case scenario. Their ideal best case scenario, I think Ohio is a bit off the market. Iowa, is it likely? I don't know if it's likely. I mean, with J.D. Schulten, I think it's at least possible. I like J.D. Schulten. J.D. Schulten's a pretty good candidate. I found an old statement of his about Palestine. It was not that bad. It wasn't the best. It was like a basic normie, not even normie Democrat. It was like he actually cared about Palestinians. So it's like, okay, that's something. And that was the big thing. It's like, I don't like Nathan Sage. Fuck Nathan Sage. He says, like, close the borders. Like, fuck you. Every candidate's like shut down the borders. Like, fuck you. I don't give a shit. There's like this fucking guy, Roland Gutierrez, who literally ran like a fucking campaign in Texas, and he was like, oh, I'm going to like team up with the DEA to like take down the drug cartels in like Mexico. It's like, that's literally Donald Trump's plan. What are you talking about? But like, if we're gonna be real, the most likely best case scenario for them is this. But knowing the wait. I guess this is the most ideal. I guess this is the most realistic best case scenario for Democrats. Although, knowing the Democrats, there's a chance that this is the map going into 2020. There's a chance this could be the map. Hell, for the Democrats, there's a chance this could be the map. But again, like, if we want to play, like, actual fairness, I think this is the most likely... If we're going to do predictions, I think this is the most likely map. Dems, like, best case ideal scenario would maybe be these two flipping. But again, Dems really need to get a Hail Mary. And even if that means just giving Nebraska away to an independent, that'd be one thing. Well, I'm just going to make this solid color map, even though that's really irrelevant, because we're about to move on. One of these seats has got to go. One of these seats has got to flip. I'm leaving North Carolina because I do think it's very likely to flip. It's very likely to flip. Like, it's finally, like, it's Roy Cooper. It's Roy's magic time. Roy Cooper's the magic man. It's gonna flip. Like, and they're like, the GOP is running the fucking, like, Republican national chair. It's like, who are you? It's most likely, it's guaranteed. I mean, I wouldn't say it's guaranteed, but it's likely to flip. But anyways, now let's move on to the main topic of this video. Let's take the 7-axis test. As a warning again, this test could be triggering to some of you. Oh, I thought that was like something on my screen. Warning some users may find this test. Basically, I guess we're going to be put onto like the 7 axes. The 7 axes political quiz is a set of 7 axes that each measure mutually exclusive values. You'll be presented with a statement and you'll answer with your opinion on the statement. If you strongly agree to strongly disagree. With each answer, slightly different. This test is performed by me, banned on Reddit. 7 independent axes: economic, national, war, civil, cultural, technological, and religious. Good thing you put this one and this one in this order, huh? There's egalitarianism versus consumerism, which would of course be, you know, communism versus like capitalism. There's nationalism versus internationalism, you know. I guess this would be, you know, more. Wait, hold on, what? Those with high nationalism scores and patriotic nationalistic, they often believe in patriotic education, supporting veterans, restricting immigration, enforcing assimilation of cultures, and those with higher international are constantly globalists. They don't believe it. They believe in cooperation, like the UN. Pacifism versus jingoism, libertarianism versus authoritarianism, traditionalism versus modernism, accelerationism versus decelerationism, and religious and atheistic. I really don't get why these are the ones. I assume that they just didn't want to put like terms like conservative or progressive. Like, hold on, let me see. Yeah, we've taken a couple of quizzes before. I've taken like the American Values 2 quiz. I've taken a couple other ones. I took this one for fun, like on my own. The Hate Values quiz. I should have posted the fucking like results that I took for the Hate Values quiz, because it's like it's very funny. Like they literally like put you on like many different fucking like do you hate people or do you like people, or like certain fucking things. Like there's like, and they have like really fucking weird ones. But again, it's like they're obviously like a fucking like reactionary like person. So it's like, now you might be wondering, why am I taking this quiz if they're such a reactionary bad person? Because it's funny. Who cares? All right, we got 141 questions to go, so let's go. A progressive taxation system is preferable to a flat taxation system. Strongly agree. So we got these ones. Okay, so this one's fine. I can deal with this one. I can deal with these ones. Because I like having because I need like all of these ones. Regulations are almost always improve the economy. Strongly agree. Excessive government intervention poses a threat to the economy. Strongly disagree. In a capitalist system, only those who work hard can succeed. Strongly disagree. Protectionism is sometimes necessary in trade. Agree. I didn't put strongly agree because Trump's tariffs are at the very least giving me some concern. I mean, it's not completely changing like my actual full-on views on like protectionism and trade, but like even then it's like Private charity is a bad thing as it prevents the masses from reaching the conditions that cause revolution. No, that's not. No, private charity is bad just because it's not enough. So I'm gonna put disagree. Oh wait, no. Somewhat disagree. The practice of usury should be banned. This question. You know what they're talking about when they're talking about this question. But let's take a look. Let's defend what is usury. Usury is literally the practice of making loans that are seen as unfairly enriching the lender. Huh? Oh no! I misread that. The term may be used in a normal sense, condemning taking advantage of others' misfortunes, or in a legal sense, where an interest rate is charged in excess of the maximum rate allowed by law. Like, I mean, I think, like, I mean, just gonna let this clear up right here, right now. Like, on the base level of the term usury, I think that it should not be a thing. But I can't, in good faith, answer like a big agree or strongly agree on it because I know what this quiz is implying with that statement. So I'll only put somewhat agree because I know what the quiz is implying with that statement. Selfishness, when it relates to the economy, should be rewarded. Strongly disagree. Wait, hold on. Selfishness? Yes, selfishness. It is immoral for the government to allow people to be without medical care. Strongly agree. The rich should pay the majority of their income in taxes. Strongly agree. Communism is an ideal that can never work in practice. I'd say somewhat disagree. It depends on your definition of communism, because I think like some elements of communism could hypothetically work in a certain sense. Like, it depends on what you mean. Like, there are certain policies that can be perceived as communist, and then there are certain political parties that are communist that have run countries that have done pretty fine for the most part. Privatization is needed to make an economy thrive. Strongly disagree. You know what? I think I'll put slightly disagree. I mean, like, not slightly, but like disagree, because like broadly no, but like I think I guess there needs to be like, because like, you know, I guess like kind of the government control literally everything is a bit of a slight issue, because like I think it's like yeah, broadly disagree. Free trade is a bad policy. Strongly agree. The rich do not pay their fair share. Strongly agree. Environmental regulation benefits society. Strongly agree. Public roads benefit society. Strongly agree. Private schools benefit society. Yeah, just disagree. Strongly disagree, not necessarily, because I guess there's some benefit to it, but like, I mean, I guess there's some benefit to, like, I guess, no, you don't know, I'm going to put strongly disagree, because, you know, private schools can teach kids, like, things that are not necessarily, like, right, like, and then again, I guess most schools, like, depending on where you are, can literally just teach you wrong things, so it's, like, it's a complicated measure. Wealthy inequality is not a problem in our nation. Strongly disagree. Wealth inequality is a massive problem. Property rights are vital to a functioning society. No, I don't. Private property is cringe. The only solution to the recession is less government intervention. No, that is a no. That is no. Monopolies can only exist with government intervention. What? That question makes no sense. The question doesn't make any sense. Monopolies can only exist with government intervention? Monopolies can only exist with government intervention? I guess the implication is that the government is a monopoly? I'm gonna put neutral on the show, because again, I don't fucking know what that means. Wage labor is theft. Kind of. You make $1, they make a dime. That's why you shit on company time. Workplaces should be more democratic. Strongly agree. A genuine capitalist free market regulates itself. No. It's counterproductive to focus on equal outcomes rather than equal opportunities. Disagree. You can work on both. I would support more moratorium on all immigration. No. It's important to promote domestic industry through legislation. Agree. The European Parliament needs more power. Neutral, unsure, I don't really care. Our nation is superior to all others. Strongly disagree. That is just not true at all. Foreign aid is a waste of money. I'd say somewhat disagree. Some foreign aid is fine, but like you have to be clear what the foreign aid is. Multiculturalism enriches all cultures. Strongly agree. Governmental policies do not need to be justified to foreigners. What? What does that? What? That makes no sense. Again, what does that mean? What does that mean? Like, what? I'm just gonna Google this entire question. What does that mean? I have to sadly use the fucking stupid AI thing. Arguments exist for both and for and against the idea of the government. I guess the implication is that, oh, okay. So I think the stupid Google AI thing is right for once. Oh my goodness, it actually helped me clarify an actual answer. I guess that really does help the fucking, like, controversy surrounding, like, the fucking future video I'm gonna make, where I'm gonna talk about how AI is ruining the world. Oh boy. Governmental policies not to be. So basically what it's saying is that governmental policies, of course, like, whatever we do, it doesn't have to be justified by other people. And I'll put slightly disagree, because no, I put neutral unsure. I'm not really sure, because, like, it depends on what you mean by that. Veterans do not deserve special privileges. Now, that's a tricky question. Like, what does that mean, special privileges? Like, again, like, what does that mean? Do they mean, like, we, like, literally have to treat veterans, like, differently, or is it, like, just, like, a cultural thing? Because I could say a very hot take here, but I'm not going to. I'm not going to. So I'm just gonna put neutral unsure and avoid the controversy. Homogeny is important for maintaining national stability. Strongly disagree. An ideal nation would avoid forming alliances. Not necessarily. Like, an occasional alliance here and there, but, like, I'm not a military alliance, but, like, maybe, like, a diplomatic alliance. An international alliance of nations committed to mutual defense is something I would support. Somewhat disagree, because I know this is, like, referring to NATO, but, like, I don't believe in NATO. Like, I mean, I guess just broadly disagree. International law is important, strongly agree. It doesn't bother me if an immigrant flies the flag of his home country rather than the national flag. So, yeah, I don't fucking care. It's very important to maintain foreign influence. Disagree. I'm not really a fan of American hegemony. International organizations that aim to combat climate change have a positive effect on the world. Strongly agree. The government should be able to monitor potential terrorists. This is a tricky one because, of course, like, what does that mean? What does that mean? Like, does this mean, like, go after people who are perceived to be, like, enemies of the state, and then, like, making them, like, I'm gonna put somewhat agree, because let me explain what I mean. I mean, like, in a certain sense, if, like, there is, like, a specific thing, like a specific activity that raises suspicion, then, you know, keep tabs on that. Like, for example, if the government is gonna have all those, like, fucking databases or whatever, and then, like, the word, like, bomb is typed out in a computer and then hit enter, get, like the NSA can get a little, like, and then it's like, what? They could check that specific person at that particular time. They're like, oh, why are they Googling this? Why are they Googling this? And they can figure out why he's doing that. But, like, I don't think, like, again, this is, like, a bit of a slippery slope. I'm going to put somewhat agree. Like, to a very minimal degree, there is, of course, an obvious benefit to, at the very least, keeping tabs on certain obvious, like, unwell people. In fact, I've actually watched some video essays by, like, some people. It's like, wow, this person definitely should have been monitored for multiple times. Like, there's that one fucking guy, like, I guess, is it right for me to, like, address that as a guy? Because this person was very clearly, like, a person struggling with a trans identity. I guess I'm gonna include, like, a fucking, like, link to the fucking, like, Turkey Tom video essay here. I know Turkey Tom's kind of cringe because it was somewhat right-wing views, but, like, that video was kind of good. It was kind of interesting. It was, like, the Ember fucking girl attack person. A police force is necessary part of a functioning society. Somewhat disagree. The right to peaceful protest should exist. Absolutely. The right to own firearms should exist. I mean, yeah, at least somewhat agree. I mean, of course, there should be massive regulations in certain aspects of, like, firearms, but, like, you know, no, I guess it's, like, more agree than somewhat agree. Let me think. I'm trying to think. Should it be more somewhat agree or agree? Because, like, I think, like, again, firearms should be more, like, it should be, like, a thing where it's, like, you know, a pistol or a rifle, yeah, those ones should be relatively easy to get if you're, like, a guy who's, like, if you're a person who's, like, a functioning member of society. There's no history of mental illness. There's no, like, major issues. There's no, like, issues, or, like, you're not part of, like, some extremely, like, radical, like, right-wing forums or whatever. But, like, you know, again, of course, like, the higher risk should be, like the more dangerous the weapon is, the less likely you should be able to get it. But yeah, I at least broadly agree that you should be able to own, like, a fucking, like, firearm to an extent. A centralized government is ideal. Some would disagree. I guess I'm usually posted on, like, these quizzes that are more decentralized. The media should be influenced by, if not controlled by, the state. No. I'm gonna say at least I'm gonna say disagree. Because while yes, of course, you know, communists, you know, state run everything's state run, and, like, yes, I think there should be, like, because it's the thing, it's like, on one end, I think that there should be a state-run, like, media enterprise that should at least provide certain basic needs and necessities to people. Like, a PBS is absolutely necessary in a world, and it should be, like, heavily funded. But I also don't believe that the government should 100% control every single aspect of the media. So, I guess I'll broadly say somewhat disagree. Because, like, if the government controls literally every single aspect of the media, that's, like, the most fucking easy thing to, like, abuse. The very existence of the state is a threat to our liberty. Strongly disagree. Direct democracy is an ideal form of government. At least somewhat agree. The non-aggression principle should be the form of the basis of all laws. I guess I have to fucking look up the non-aggression principle specifically, because I need to, like, I guess I need to know specifics about the non-aggression principle. The non-aggression principle is the concept of aggression, defined as initiating or threatening any forceful interference with any individual, their property, or their agreements, is illegitimate and should be prohibited. I mean, this is, like, weird. I'm just gonna put disagree, because, like, this fucking, no, the non-aggression principle is kind of stupid. I mean, because, like, they define, like, paying, like, old ladies, like, they define, like, paying taxes as a form of aggression, so it's, like, that's weird. Nobody has the right to discriminate against anybody for believing in the wrong God. Yeah, because you all believe in the wrong one, because there is no one. So yeah, there should be no right to discriminate against anybody for believing in a specific wrong one, because they're all wrong. Things that are morally wrong should be illegal. Now, that's a bit of a tricky question, specifically because what is defined as morally wrong? Because there is a form of moral relativism to certain people. Some people view, like, there are some people who view the murder of children in a certain state to be morally righteous. So it's a bit of a thing, because, like, it's a bit weird, because, like, that's, like, a bit of a hard definition, so I guess I just have to put neutral and sure, because, like, by definition, like, to some people, being in a consensual, gay, loving relationship is morally wrong. I have respect for strong leaders, even though I disagree with their policies. No. Strong leaders are fucking cringe. Bad, evil people should be publicly shamed and harassed. I would want to put neutral. I mean, on some elements, I want to put kind of somewhat agree, but I don't really, like, not really harassed, but, like, people who are not really that cool should be. But again, like, neutral and unsure, because, like, what does that mean? Because, like, that's like a very slippery slope. The presumption of innocence is very important to a just legal system. Yes. The government shouldn't be able to put citizens to death. Yes. Live and let live is a good principle to live by. I guess I have to put somewhat agree, purely because, like, this is kind of like a base, like kind of at least liberal or libertarian type of view of the world. But I mean, I would put a disagree, because I don't believe that, like, you know, people should be like, oh, well, I mean, if you're black, you know, live and let live. It's like, no, I mean, why would you, no, I mean, like, you have to, like, accept that there are people who are different than you and, like, accept their differences. But I guess I'll have to put someone agree, because, like, yeah. Human rights are inalienable, yes. The will of the people is often the most important factors in determining policy, yeah. Due to the flaws of the human nature, a government is necessary, yes. Yeah, I mean, kind of cringe. Yeah, but that's like real. Oftentimes, the best decision a person can make is to do what authority figures tell them to do. No. I care more about my life than about my liberties. But, like, no, somewhat disagree, because, like, what does that mean? I would not die for freedom? Well, that depends on the situation. That it would depend on the situation. I mean, ideally, I would not want to die. Ideally, I want to live forever, but, you know, that's not going to happen. And, I don't know, push comes to shove. I don't know. Same-sex relationships are an abomination. Strongly disagree. You cannot be moral if you are not religious. Wrong. Interracial marriages should be looked down upon in society. Nope. Physician-assisted suicide should be legal. Somewhat agree, because there needs to be at least a threshold to get, like, I mean, yeah, as I said before, Jeremy Corbyn has at least opened my eyes to, like, some nuances and some discussions that could be had about this. But I think broadly, if a person truly is left in, we gotta talk about everybody talks about the same hypothetical person with terminal cancer who's going to be in constant pain for 100 years or whatever. They could just end it right there, right there. I wouldn't want to do with it. There's nothing wrong with promiscuity. I just have to look at the. I know what this means, but I just want to make it clear. Oh, cool. Yeah, there's nothing wrong with people being promiscuous. Affirmative action for racial minorities is a good policy. Yes. Secularism is evil. No. Swearing and profanity should be looked down upon by society. Now that's fucking stupid. That's fucking stupid. Like, I mean, like, maybe in public you should at least be like, hey, yo, keep it. They don't swear in public, but, like, I don't really care. Science is more important than religion and tradition. Yes. I have no moral objections to men dressing as women. Marijuana should be illegal. No. Prostitution should be illegal. The roles of men and women in society are social constructs. Yes. Society was better many years ago now than it is now. Strongly disagree, because I know what they mean. They mean, like, way back in the past. They don't mean, like, 2 years ago. We should strive to be as diverse as possible at all times. Yeah. The fundamental flaw of Western society is that their people have lost connection to the ways of the past. No, that's not the fundamental flaw. The fundamental flaw is that they're a capitalist society. I support affirmative action for the poor. Yes. Witchcraft should be a punishable offense. No, because witchcraft is fake. We must liberate ourselves from the ways of the past. Yes. No religion is superior to the others. Yes. Modern values are better than the values of the past. Yes. Abortion should be readily available. Yes. Women are better off as homemakers. I was about to make a joke and say yes, but no. It is better that different races stay in their own countries rather than them mixing with each other. No. Feminism has made the world better. Yes. Certain races have done more for humanity than others. No. War is a universal evil. Absolutely. We should not use our... Agree. I'm gonna give like I'm gonna slightly move it down, because, like, there are some wars that were justifiable, and while they did do a lot of bad things, you know what? No. I'm just gonna say, even wars that ultimately led to good causes were a universal bad. We should not be doing any war. We should not use our war to defend. We should not use our military to defend our countries. Yeah. Our military should be used for primarily defensive procedures for us, so yeah. If other countries violate human rights, it is not our problem. Some would disagree. There's some exceptions, obviously. We should spend less than 2.3% of our GDP on the military. Yes. Nations fall apart with constant war. Yes. Supporting groups in foreign wars is a bad idea, as it risks war. Yeah. Is it more important to maintain peaceful relationships and further our strength? Yes. If military exists at all, it should be used for defense only? Yes. War brings out the best in a nation? No. Deployment of troops abroad is necessary to protect our national interests? Absolutely not. We should spend our ideas by military force if necessary? No. War is justified if waged against an evil enemy? I guess I have to say somewhat agree, but like that's a very again, I acknowledge that that's a slippery slope, but like sometimes it is. We should attempt to conquer foreign lands? No. It is the destiny of my ideal nation to rule the world? No. Many of our present-day problems can be solved by technology? Yes. Genetic modification of plants and animals is acceptable? To an extent. Neutral, unsure. That's a bit of a. The Matrix seems like a utopia to me. No, the Matrix movies were like a dystopia, were they not? I would prefer to live in a city over a rural area. I mean, kind of. I prefer like a more people, more around, like more like actually prominent. Maybe not in a city per se, but like, you know, I live in the suburbs and I like being in the suburbs. The technology of the future will preserve the environment. Neutral, unsure. I hope it would. Science will solve all of our problems given enough time and resources. I mean, ultimately, yeah, I do believe that science will inevitably, if we give it enough time and efforts, we can solve at least a majority of the problems. Maybe not all of the problems, because I have like a slight hot take about like the cure for cancer. But even then, I'm pretty sure I might be wrong on that stance. So, you know, I'm just gonna agree. Genetic modifications of humans acceptable? Wait, I thought they already asked this. I mean, no, wait. I think one was that like it's morally good, or if one is like if it's like I'm fine with it. Neutral, unsure. I don't really care. I have taken at least one dose of the coronavirus vaccine and was not forced to do so. Yeah. I mean, I guess I technically was forced to do so, but I still made the decision to do it. I was gonna do it anyways. If given the choice, I would reject an extension of my lifespan by centuries. Far from it. I would accept that 100%. The only morally acceptable means of procreation is natural conception? No. The Industrial Revolution and its consequences have been a disaster for the human race? No. I would not replace my functional limbs with the mechanical ones. No. It says my functioning limbs. I mean, yeah, if they work, if my limbs work, then I'll keep my limbs. I'll prefer to live in a rural town than an urban city. Someone disagree? AI poses a massive threat to humanity? I mean, I would have originally said like something like at least somewhat disagree, but like I'm starting to get on the agree side. Transhumanism is, and you'll see there's a video, APU files coming soon to figure out why. Transhumanism is one of the greatest dangers of mankind in the modern day. I mean, not really. It's not really that prevalent of a thing, so it's like, whatever. Technology is the cause of so much of our suffering. Disagree. It's not. There are definitely some problems that can arise with technology, but, you know, I'd say broadly, technology's done a lot of good. I choose to not get flu shots. Strongly disagree. I will never or never will again get a vaccine. I don't know. Maybe for the rest of the Trump term. I don't know. But I would say strongly disagree. I don't know. I don't trust the fucking RFKs doing the fucking vaccines. Many of our present day problems are caused by technology. No. I would oppose replacing school teachers with robots. Yes. I mean, yes. Because not even because technology is flawed. I mean, I guess humanity is flawed as well, but like, you know, whatever. It is immoral to attempt to achieve immortality. Not necessarily immoral, but more impractical. I mean, we will never achieve immortality. That's a fact. So I guess I'll just put someone agree. Just because it's like, there is something more to life than living and dying. I mean, yeah, but like, life, I guess technically somewhat agree, because like, yeah, I guess I'm a realist in that sense. Like, really, ultimately, the truth matter of life is that we live, we eat, we fuck, and then we shit, and then we die. That's basically our life. But like, of course, like each individual person would have to make their own decision, like what is like their thing. I believe in heaven or hell or equivalent concepts. No. Well, I believe in hell now. It's called the United States. It's called America. It's called the year 2025. Society should be centered around religion. No. The biggest divide in the modern day is between secular and the religious. I wouldn't say it's the biggest divide. So, no. I believe in attending a religious service such as church as a moral necessity. No. I believe in one or many gods. No. There is such a thing as truth. Yeah, I mean, I guess in a lot of sense. I mean, there is some, to an extent, objective truth in some aspects of it. Atheists are bad people. Yes, and that's why I'm one of them. Haha. Objective morality is a farce. Yeah, somewhat. There is the only thing that is considered really objective morality is murdering people is wrong. That's basically the only real equivalent of like moral, like that is the only real like objectively moral thing. No god should have authority over mankind. Absolutely. Like, if there is a god, he's our enemy. That's what it is. There is no justice or judgment after death. Strongly agree. There is no evidence that a god or gods exist at all. Strongly agree. Organized religion have much in common with cults. They are cults. That's what they are. They are cults. A cult is a small religion. A religion is a big cult. I hate religious people. I mean, some religious people are cool and they can be good, say good things and whatever, but broadly, you guys didn't send your best. I'm too smart to believe in religion. I'm a materialist. I guess I have to like check like the official definition of that. Materialism is a philosophical monism of metaphysics, where according to which matter is fundamental substance in nature, and all things including mental states and consciousness are results of material interactions. I guess somewhat agree, but I'd have to like do more research on that. There is nothing after death. Yep. Oh, except we're here. All right, the 7 axes. My economic axis: 77.4% socialist, well, egalitarian versus 22.6% consumerist. Multiculturalism, internationalist versus nationalism. This is like a really weird one. Why is this the thing? War axis: extreme pacifism. 9/11. Libertarian. Whoa, that's a bit more of an authoritarian bend than I thought. Society axis: revolutionary. Technology axis: accelerationist. Anti-theist. Libertarian socialism. Yeah. Kind of expected. I mean, basically this 7 axes quiz is like basically what I expected. I'm surprised that I only got this much atheist. I don't know. Am I being more chill about atheism? I gotta change that soon enough, cause I gotta bring back Reddit atheism. Let's go, gang. Anyways, take this quiz for yourself. Tell me your results if you want or don't. Doesn't really matter. You're not gonna do it anyways. So thanks for watching this video. Be sure to like, comment, share, subscribe, and click the bell to notify when a future video of mine comes out. And if there's more content for me, consider supporting me on Patreon.